up, everybody? Welcome to this episode of the video game Bang. I'm your host, the real David Webb, and we have a really interesting show prepared for you guys tonight. This is a crew that we've put together from the far reaches of the internet and the world. And I don't think this crew has done a show together. You guys will have to correct me if I'm wrong. But first, let's talk about our sponsors. We are powered by Energy Esports. Vast GG. They are everything you need for your marketing, for your esports, for your social media, for your Twitch stream. Go to them. And newly announced Mainframe USA. So very stoked to be partnered with them. Go check them out. Mainframe.gg. We have a special show, like I said. Joining us from our sister show, cousin show,
sister show,
all the way from the Filmlosophers, Eddie Villanueva. What's going on?
What is up, Mr. Webb? Man, it is late. It is time to get this show on the road, but I am excited to be here. Yeah, it's great to be back. It's been a couple weeks, but yeah, I'm ready to kind of dig into some stuff, especially some awesome movies that have just recently caught out, and this thing rolling.
Yeah, I definitely want to get your opinion on some of the movies, especially Venom. But before we get into that, let's introduce, you guys might remember her. She's been on the show a couple of times. It's been a few years since she's been on.
Wow.
The one and only Ivy Doomkitty. Welcome back.
Hey, I am back. How are you guys? It's been a while.
It's
been a hot minute.
It's been a hot minute.
David's not salty at all for this, just so you know, Ivy. David's not salty.
Not even the least bit.
I'm curious about your adventures. You were a world traveler, Ivy, and what
like Dora.
Like, okay, if that helps you, sure, like Dora. What?
She can aspire to be whoever she wants. Just let her be.
Ivy, why don't you take a second, catch us up? What have you been up to since we saw you 10 years ago?
Damn. 10 years ago.
Since 10 years ago. Okay. No, I've been up to a lot. I've been doing a lot of traveling. Went to Scotland for a bit. Traveled Scotland, then went to London. From London, went to New York.
Mm-hmm.
And then Vegas, and then got really sick and died, and I'm still dying, hence the sunglasses.
It's true. My eyes. We were talking before we went on the air, and Ivy is pretty much deteriorating.
I'm the Walking Dead right now.
She really is. Like, it's a wonder how her whole visage is still like staying together, her whole face and her body and her arms and her legs. So it's a
story. Well, I removed my legs already.
It's true. She was saying earlier how she just can't feel her legs, and I think they may have fallen off while we were starting up. So who knows? I mean, she may lose an arm. This could be a whole like Monty Python and the Search for the Holy Grail all over again with the Black Knight. You know,
if Ivy loses an arm, somebody better Twitch clip that and put it on Reddit, because that's what's gonna put this show on the map. It's going to be, hey, you guys remember that one podcast where that chick lost her arm in the middle of the Twitch stream? That show was epic. Anyway, so...
it is epic. It is an epic show.
So Europe, you traveled the United Kingdom.
Yeah.
And then you came to the States, right?
Yeah, came back for New York Comic Con. Had a blast. Same thing with Europe. I love the UK. Yeah, did New York Comic Con. Had fun there. Had some panels. Saw Hamilton, which was amazing.
Nice.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, okay. It was so good. It was so good. I died.
That's the one musical that I have interest in going, and it's not even like a little bit of interest. Like, I really want to see Hamilton. And then, like, it goes from, like, Hamilton is at, like, 100% want to see it. Every other musical, negative 100%. That's a 200% difference we're working with.
Wow. That's too much math at this time of night.
You absolutely have to see it. It's phenomenal. You will die.
I've heard the soundtrack. I played the soundtrack on Spotify. I had it on repeat for a while. And, yeah, I hope to see it. I think it's coming to San Francisco soon, so we could see it there.
Okay, see, I never listened to any of the soundtrack.
Smart. Oh, it's good.
I didn't listen to any of it. I didn't know much of anything aside from the names, and then went
and that was about Hamilton.
saw the show and was blown away. And then I soundtrack.
So, how was your experience at New York Comic Con? We got Emma's experience. How was it for you?
It was good. I did my signings. I did my panels. It was considerably busy. Yeah, it was fun. It was a little different based off of how I normally do New York Comic Con. For me, I normally sign in the autographing area in the bottom, like the bottom floor.
Yeah,
where they have all the celebrity autographs. And this year they tried something new and had a cosplay area.
Oh, okay.
So I was signing there instead, and that worked out. The only problem was because it was a new area, a lot of people didn't know where to find me, so I had to constantly just, let people know, hey, like, no, this is where I'm at. Oh, I couldn't find you at this spot downstairs in the autograph area. No, this is where I'm at this year.
Nice.
But it was fine. It was fine. The only thing that I missed doing, and it was because I was so busy, was not, hanging out with all the people that I initially had intended to hang out with, all the friends that live out there that I really wanted to see. So that was the only thing. That was the downside. I didn't get to see a lot of friends. But the experience itself of the con was great. The fans were freaking awesome, as they always are in New York. It's one of my absolute favorite cities in the world. So yeah, it's definitely a show that I would go back to every single year.
Nice.
So you've been to New York Comic Con, you've been to San Diego Comic Con, not to start a East versus West war.
New York Comic Con.
Whoa, Ivy! How could you take that side?
Easy.
I said no sides, but come on,
I took a side. New York Comic Con all the way.
West Coast, Best Coast, Ivy.
So
What are
some of the things about the New York Comic Con that make it so much better than the San Diego one? Aside from the obvious things like everything, but what are some of the more?
Wow. All right.
Well, okay. I've been to the San Diego one for the last 6 years, and it continues to just be chaos after chaos, and it continues to diminish its fun value. Especially for people who are not just attending, but like part of press and part of the, overall people who have booths and whatnot. So I know that aspect and how it's just getting crazy and whatnot. But how does it differ from the experience that you have at New York?
I'd say for me, New York focuses so much on creators.
Okay.
Specifically comic book creators, your writers, your artists.
I mean, a Comic-Con that's actually focused on comic books and comic creators?
Yeah, exactly.
I wasn't
saying
anything.
No, I mean, that's unheard of.
This is groundbreaking.
Really? Like, oh my gosh, who would have thunk it? People go to a comic convention for comic books?
To be honest, I thought at this point, Comic-Con is kind of like Kleenex. Like you say, can I get a Kleenex? You're not necessarily talking about the brand. It's a generalized term. I figure that's what Comic-Con has kind of developed into. It's like, just because you're going to Comic-Con doesn't mean it's about comics. 90% of the time, it's about like TV. You know what I mean? So
it's about what?
TV.
Tuberculosis?
Well, it's pretty much a pop culture convention at this point.
Do you need to turn your headphones up?
What they all are.
Yeah.
What's that? Sorry, Ivy, what was that?
Oh, I said it's pretty much become just pop culture convention. That's
100%.
Really what all they are.
That's it's kind of, it's kind of like this show. I mean, it's video game bang, but it's kind of a generalized term now, because now we talk a lot about pop culture and not just video games.
Well, and I think it's interesting to look at the kind of evolution of what Comic-Con has become, more so from like the San Diego aspect, because like I said, that's the one I primarily have gone to. But you have San Diego Comic-Con that started out like 40 plus years ago, and it was focused on comic books. And as people began to jump the bandwagon to the cool nerdy thing, it's become more of like a fuller focus on pop culture and recognizing, oh, it's about this movie, it's about that movie, it's about these things, it's about those things, it's about these TV shows or those TV shows, or Netflix is doing that or whatnot. And I think comic books is getting pushed further and further back as no longer the primary focus, or even the secondary focus, or even the third focus, but it's no longer becoming the main attraction for what people go to Comic-Con for anymore. And that's sad, because there's a lot of people who have been going for years and years, and every time I go, I hear the same stories like, man, it's changed. It's gotten so crazy, and I don't know if I'll be able to come next year. And it's the same story every time, every year, from different people, and those people, I don't see them. They follow through, and I usually don't end up seeing them the following year. So it's sad. I mean, you go to these conventions for the passion and for the love that started it all, And what it's become is more of like a cash grab of trying to see how many people we can suck in to show up so that they can catch a glimpse of their favorite actor, their favorite performer, or their favorite this, and forget that this whole thing was based on a passion for, comic books and the art that's in it and the creators who created the story.
And oftentimes you have the comic book section is off to the side, or it's a like you could buy comics and it's like an end cap. It's an afterthought. You have Artist Alley, but Artist Alley is a mixture of not just comic book artists, but just painters and stuff like that. And not that there's anything wrong with that, but like you're saying, it's becoming more pop culture and
there's no emphasis on those things. I mean, if they wanted people to focus on the creative aspect or whatnot, they would. I mean, I want to see more of that prevalent in the center of the exhibition hall. I want to see them celebrate these people, these entities. There are tons of people who go to these things that dish out thousands and thousands of dollars just to have a booth set up because they want people to recognize that there's more to these things than just actors and performers and YouTubers. No offense to any of the YouTubers who may be listening or whatnot, but there's more to.
We have big YouTubers listening.
Hey, I mean, I'm not gonna knock, but just saying, But it's just changed for me, and I even ask myself that same thing every year. I'm like, do I want to go next year? Do I really want to deal with all that? Do I want to, I want to enjoy myself. I want to go back to what it was all about, and who knows? I mean,
so what do you think? So, in your opinion, both of you guys, in your opinion, for quote unquote Comic Cons to grow or do something different, they have to go back to more focusing on comics and then put the TV, like do a swap basically?
I would say I mean, they can do all the TV shit. They can do all the movies that they want. That's fine. But don't neglect what your primary audience is looking for. And that's to celebrate the artistry and the wonder of what comic books have created. Comic books have been around for decades. We're looking at least 60 years, 70 years. And that form has been around for so long that needs to be recognized. That needs to be celebrated. There are people who toil and work and put their sweat, blood, and tears into creating these books that come out every other week, and we pick them up and we read them and we enjoy them. And then we go to these things and we're like, oh, I want to go see, Tom Hiddleston, or I want to go see, what's going on with this or that. We forget the whole purpose of these things, and that's to celebrate the great things that people like Stan Lee and Jack Kirby had started, and the people at DC and Image and Vertigo, and the people at Dynamite and Dark Horse and all these other great entities that are still creating content, but we wouldn't know because they're pushed back to the far corners or they're given minimal space. And it's not talked about. It's not prevalent. People aren't like, hey, you should go check out the new Dynamite comic that's coming out this fall. We got a preview at the booth. No, it's like, oh, go check out the panel for these things or those things. So I don't have a chip on my shoulder, by the way. It's not anything personal. I'm just saying.
I agree because, I mean, on my end, I got into all of this because I love comics. I went to my first comic book convention to meet my favorite comic book artists and my favorite comic book writers, so that's where I came from a fan perspective. I came in as a fan of all of this, and then the cosplay and all that stuff happened later, way years down the road that happened, so for me coming in as a fan and seeing the Artist Alley at San Diego Comic-Con go from what it was to getting smaller and smaller and smaller and having a significantly less presence. It's just really sad to see comics get pushed off into that little back corner. Whereas with New York Comic-Con, and just kind of taking it back with New York Comic-Con, they have over 500, 600 comic book artists and writers in their Artist Alley in this place, and it's massive. It's absolutely massive. And that's not just in the Artist Alley. Then you also have, comic book artists and writers doing signings at the different booths at the conventions or at the on the exhibit floor as well. Yeah. So you have all of these different companies, like you were talking about, Dark Horse and Dynamite, all these different companies, Image or Skybound. You have all the companies that are being represented there. But in addition to that, are pulling artists and writers to do signings there from also being in Artist Alley. So there's a lot of push on that end, which I absolutely love. Whereas I don't see that so much with San Diego, which is why for me, New York is always going to be the one that I like over, between those two. It'll always be New York Comic Con because of the respect that they still have for the industry.
So going to chat because we are also a Twitch stream. If you're listening to the podcast and you have not checked us out on Twitch, check us out, twitch.tv/videogame_bang, live every Wednesday and Saturday for the recordings. Just shout out to a couple people in chat. They are chiming in on this subject.
Yeah.
And it's pretty funny. Special Cases says, no, fuck them. Nobody reads comics anymore.
Yeah, real quick. Yeah, that's wrong. Because
hang on.
no, go ahead. But I'm gonna get back to Mr. Special Cases, whatever that's because this. Yeah, go ahead. Keep going.
K9 Fang, Rip Alamo City Comic Con. I don't know if is Alamo City not doing it anymore or if they're following the same suit as what we're talking about. 316 says, I think New York City Comic Con has gotten more pop culture centered, but has still retained a lot more of its comic focus as well. I think many others have them off to the side, it sounds like now.
Yeah.
Emma Skies is in the chat, and she just puts in insert old man yells at clouds meme.
Hey.
Sergeant Squiggles says, here's the thing. Cons, like any other business model, follow the money. Normies who don't read comics will go to Comic-Con to see Jason David Frank or the Boy Meets World cast, and that's what's going to generate money for the con.
So Special Cases is on one tonight because he's like, as usual, Webb taking things out of context. So real quick, no, people do still read comics, and it's still a prevalent and viable industry because of the fact that, I mean, if there's any recollection of any of that, I mean, look at the recent runs from DC, look at the current run for the whole Batman storyline. That is probably one of the most hottest story runs that people are picking up and buying. I mean, for God's sakes, people got excited a few weeks ago because they could see Bat Penis. That was in a comic book. Don't know if you know. Don't look at me like that.
Oh, God. Canceling my subscription to Batman.
But it's like people are still wanting to see that. And just like Ivy talked about how there's that emphasis in New York, the thing is comic focused cons, that's what it all started out with. We forget. We're like, oh, well, you know, there's all these other pop cultures. What's up? No. What started this were comic books. Comic books are what brought people to the movies. Comic books are what's bringing people into the bookstores. Comic books are still one of those things that will never go away. Like I said, it's been around for 70 years. People are still buying them 70 years later. I mean, you name another industry who's still selling stuff like that and still successful. I mean, well, yeah, true. I mean, but like they're still doing really great. You know, it's a model of that's continuing to push forward. They look at penis photos on Twitter. Special Cases, I'm praying for you. But I think people actually like people are still loving the artwork. They're still seeing what people are doing new. You know, there's a recent run of I don't know if you guys have ever heard Weatherman. Weatherman is another great run of comics that's coming out. And it's so great and it's beautiful. And I buy the issue every month, every week that I can. I mean, yeah, what can I say? I mean, I'm a huge advocate for comic books because of the fact that it's another expression outward of art and the ability to see people's view on the world around them. I mean, what can I say? So, yeah. Let me step off my soapbox real quick and go ahead and give it back to David. Good.
Yeah, we did get one soapbox thing in chat, and Junior TARDIS, Emma already did that joke. Corey needs to stop recycling jokes that Emma already did. So Ivy, while you've been gone, there's been some movies that dropped. I don't know if you know this, but we have a film expert. He specializes in the philosophy of film. One might call him a filmlosopher.
Oh, but
so Eddie, I wanted to get your non-spoiler opinion review, and I know you've probably done these reviews for your own show, so you don't have to give too much away, so we can get people to go and listen to your podcast.
Most definitely.
But, Ivy hasn't seen Venom.
Yeah. Nope. I have not.
Me and Corey and Emma and our good friend Marcus did a spoiler-filled review of Venom entitled Spittin' Venom. So you can go check that out on bgbstudios.com, and I think you could tell by the title what we thought of it. But I want to know what you thought of it, Eddie.
Yeah. So we discussed Venom in lesson 134, and here's the thing: the issue that I have with Venom. So I thought Venom was okay. It was decent. The problem is that they spent so much time creating this PG-13 film for a character who definitely runs in the R-rated world. And they wash this entire film without any blood, without any excessive use of any terms or cussing or any type of usage of killing. It's a very dumbed down version of the character, and unfortunately, the one biggest flaw this film has is it doesn't bring any type of honor to the character that Venom was in the comic books. That was going to be my next question is, did you read any Venom comic books, or how familiar were you with the character going into the movie? I'm a fan of the entire, some of the runs they've done, including the most recent one, which actually ties Venom and the Clintar race back to even like the Celestials, and creating that bridge for more gravitas of how awesome Venom is in the current runs. So I've followed it pretty closely over the years, ever since, I first experienced Venom back in the mid-90s Spider-Man series. It was that actually got me interested in the character, and I started reading from then on. But I'm fairly familiar enough to know that the way this character works is a little bit less on the fun, jolly side, and more so on the predatorial type of almost animalistic character that Venom was. You have a lot that goes on in this film that takes away from the overall character that Venom could be, and it ultimately plays out as a slapstick comedy where Tom Hardy is doing his best Jerry Lewis impression, and Venom is this inner monologue of like ridiculousness within Tom Hardy. Here's my ultimate thought. This film would be incredible if it wasn't a Venom movie and it was focused more on like mental instability.
So if this is a PSA,
if this was a PSA on
10 out of 10 armchairs,
100%, like this would be, if this movie was not about like an alien symbiote that overtakes somebody's body, and it was more focused on like mental instability or like the mental health aspect, this movie would actually be really good with how he talks to himself, with how he refers to himself, with how he has those inner dialogues within himself about, doing bad, doing good, things like that. I really think this could have actually worked in that direction. It doesn't work as a Venom film. It's fun to watch. It's got decent scenes. It has some fun action, but all in all, this film doesn't deliver on what we've expected for a Venom film. This film sincerely feels like this movie is old. Like not only just the style, the way it looks, but the graphics, the design, the music.
One of the funniest reviews was this movie would have been really good in 2006.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
So, okay. So, Ivy, I'm going to toss the ball to you now. You have not seen the movie, but I'm sure you've heard many reviews like this one. How familiar are you with the character of Venom? And after hearing these types of reviews, are you still going to go see it?
I'm still going to go see it. I'm familiar with the character.
Yeah, I think it's still worth
both
the view.
Both in comics and in film. So, for me, I like the character regardless. Hell, I can still sit down and watch Spider-Man's 1, 2, and 3 and deal with freaking Peter Parker doing the little
the jazz Venom,
which is it's pretty awesome. You could do that in the game too. You can walk down the street in the game and give people finger guns.
It's terrible.
I did that many times.
So yeah, no, I can still watch it. I still want to watch it. I'm still excited for it. I generally keep myself open to interpretation when I see anything aside from Harry Potter, anything that's adapted from like a comic book to film.
Yeah.
Because, just like with and I always use this example, there's a gajillion X-Men comics, Astonishing X-Men, New X-Men, X-Men. You have all sorts of different X-Men books, and they're all different variations of, that group.
Yeah.
And well, some of them,
how each person kind of creates like their own, like they create their own world of X-Men in essence. So when I see a movie, that's how I just look at it. Oh, okay. It's like just a different, reality or version or whatever, and I'm usually okay with it as long as the main components of the character are kept true. Then it's, I'm fine with it. So
and
I
that's
probably will like it. I don't think I'm gonna hate it.
No, true. And I think that's one of the biggest things. Like when it comes to any film, one of the things we always talk about on our show is we always implore people to give things a fair shake. It may be your cup of tea and it just didn't hit it didn't hit where we find the film to be enjoyable on our side. And that's fine because that's kind of how, art works. Going back to the whole comic book thing, that's how it is. That's how it works when you have creators, you have collaborators. You are subjected to this person's interpretation of the character. Unfortunately for me, I didn't find the interpretation enjoyable, but there are several people I know of who I value their opinion, and I think they have great insight when it comes to comic books and adaptations, and they actually adored the film. They actually enjoyed it. I asked them when their next, appointment to the therapist was, but still, I said, you know what, that's cool. You enjoyed it. You found something to find that you loved. Great. I'm glad you had that experience. And likewise with Ivy as well. I mean, I hope she would go and check it out because it's still worth taking a look at. I mean, this is the first full feature-length film of the character, so first steps. And,
what I've been telling people when they've been saying like, oh, like, what do you think of it? Should I go see it? I've been advising them, do a $5 Tuesday. If you're going to go see it, go Tuesday, do a $5 movie. Don't pay full price for it. I don't think it's worth full price.
There's even a $7 Thursdays for some United. Yeah.
There you go.
So.
All right. So the next movie I want to get your opinion on. We're in October. Halloween is coming up. Ivy, you're a horror movie fan, aren't you?
I do. I love horror, but I'm also very afraid of them.
So, have you seen any of the Halloween movies, Ivy?
I have all of them.
Are you gonna see the new one?
I have not seen the new one yet. I absolutely plan to when I get back from next trip.
Yeah.
What did you think about it? You mentioned before the show that you had gone to see it.
We went to a press screening of the film last Tuesday, and I'm a huge horror fan. I love horror movies. I love the fact of what they do every time they present a good horror film. I've kind of become almost like a horror movie snob in that I've recognized bad horror movies and good horror movies, and some I'll give a fair shake, and some I'm just like, I don't really like anything from Asylum. I'm good. I will stay away from, and Asylum is pretty much everything that comes out on Sci-Fi Channel. Think Sharknado for horror. So when it comes to this particular film, I've been excited ever since they announced it. I've been just anticipating it, and when we got a chance to see it on Tuesday, I was completely overjoyed after I left the theater. This film, so if you're unfamiliar with the way this film follows in suit of the entire franchise so far, this film actually erases everything from part 2 on.
Whoa, really?
So this film is, in the truest sense, the actual sequel to John Carpenter's first film.
So they Days of Future Past the Halloween franchise.
Without having to go back in time, it actually Who?
I was just gonna jump in real quick and say it sounds exactly like what they did with the Terminator franchise.
True. Except no literal back in time stuff. It's still modern day. But what they're doing is, so it takes place 30 to 40 years after the incident in Haddonfield, and Laurie Strode actually never leaves Haddonfield. So they essentially portray Laurie as this woman who has been affected by Michael Myers so much that she spent her entire life. It's funny that you mentioned Terminator because she goes all Sarah Connor in this movie. She turns her whole house into this prepared safe house just in case Michael Myers comes back. She's got all these guns. She knows how to clean them. She has her daughter learn how to shoot. She's pretty much in this mindset of when Michael Myers comes back, she'll be ready for him.
We're keeping it spoiler free though, right?
Oh, yeah, 100%. No, 100%.
Okay.
And so this film takes place immediately after, 30 years after the first film. So any of the information from part 2 on where they make the assumption that Laurie Strode and Michael Myers are related, that's removed. A lot of the ifs and wonders that you have from part 2 on, they're addressed actually really well in the film. So, and that's one of the earlier on ones that they establish. So that's not too much of a spoiler. That's like within the first 10 minutes of the movie. The film is almost 2 hours long. And I have to say, this is probably one of the best Halloween movies that I've seen in a long time in terms of within this franchise.
Oh, wow.
Because of the fact of how well it sticks to the heart and to the mindset that John Carpenter first established with the very first film. Even the opening credits to this movie look exactly like the opening credits to the very first Halloween film. And it was so incredible to watch. Like I completely fanboyed while I was in my seat looking at the credits. Just looking at the credits, not even once the film had started rolling. The credits were like incredible. I was like, holy crap, this is going to be cool. So it's definitely worth watching as soon as you can. I actually saw it for free, and I plan to go again tomorrow to pay for it, actually, because it's worth investing into. I want to see this film succeed, not because I want a sequel. I want to emphasize this. The way this film continues on, I'm hoping that they actually just, they create this film and then they allow people to digest it and then move on to another franchise. I don't really want to see this thing kind of...
You want this to be the end?
I would like for this to be the end. Okay. But we'll see. So we'll see.
All right. Well, I think we need to get into some news. And right off the bat, let's talk about some news that dropped last night. Like, this is fresh. More Netflix news coming out saying that Luke Cage is being canceled after 2 seasons.
Yep.
Ivy,
not happy about that.
I heard some groaning. Now, what did you think about Iron Fist getting canceled?
It's okay. I mean, I'm not a fan of Iron Fist to begin with in terms of just a character at all. Like, I don't care for Iron Fist.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I saw the first season. I haven't seen the second season. I thought the first season was okay. I didn't hate it.
I did. I stopped watching.
I was fine with it. But again, this is coming from not knowing a damn thing about it.
My biggest gripe with it was just how the quality of it.
I just thought the story dragged on way too long in the first season. Like, let's get to actual substance and meat. All I'm hearing is a lot of backstory and not enough
whining.
Lots of whining. A lot of people wondering why they're not getting their inheritance. Apparently, a dad's dead, but he's not. It was a lot of just ridiculousness that I was like, yeah, if I wanted this, I'd watch the CW. Like, for real.
It's funny that you say that because, like, especially the very first episode of Iron Fist had a real season 1, episode 1 of Arrow vibe to it. I mean, here's this billionaire son who's been missing for X amount of years, and he comes back, and he's now back in the city, and everyone's like, "Oh my god, I thought you had dead. No, you're not really Oliver Queen.
I thought you had dead."
Ryan. And well, I didn't say they're smart people; they're ignorant people. And they're coming back, and they have this secret. They're now a superhero, and I don't know. I couldn't get into it, but so I was not surprised about season 2 being the last of it.
Well, real quick, Lost Sheep. So I'm not unfamiliar with the comic books, with the storyline. With Lost Sheep says you all need to read the Iron Fist comics. Then I'm assuming then you would like the show more. I've read some of the Iron Fist story runs. I've read the Heroes for Hire run. I mean, I get his origin. I understand his like whole meaning and his whole purpose of being that karate version of what Marvel needed to bring into the forefront. I get all that. That's fine.
Oh, yeah.
But there's depth to his story, and there's a lot more to it than just this whole family fiasco type, Days of Our Lives bullshit that, they were trying to feed us on Netflix. And I'm good on that. If I wanted to see all that, I'd just stay home and watch soap operas. I don't need to see my superheroes having issues with sisters and brothers and daddy issues and all that. Like I said, if I wanted that crap, I would go to the CW. So
that's what I'm saying. So, like, to be clear for those listening and those in chat, we're not criticizing necessarily the character Iron Fist. We're talking about the show itself and
the
how
creators,
the
the directors, the actors, the people behind these things.
But by contrast, Luke Cage was good.
Oh,
That-
yeah.
that
it was
show
amazing.
really good.
Such a
And
good
so
show.
That
for it to
first
have been
season
That was my
was-
top two.
That first season was
Yeah.
phenomenal. I love the hell out of that first season.
So, Netflix in a statement, Marvel and Netflix in a joint statement said everyone at Marvel Television and Netflix is grateful to have the dedicated showrunner, writers, cast, and crew who brought Harlem's hero to life for the past 2 seasons, and to all the fans who have supported the series. And even Variety was saying that there were talks to bring Luke Cage back for season 3. So it's interesting that amidst talks of season 3, we're now getting canceled. I talked about this a little bit last night with some friends, and we were talking that it's probably not going to be that big of a deal because that Disney has their streaming service coming out. More than likely, we're going to see these shows revived. Maybe not in the same sense. Like, we might
True.
not see an Iron Fist show come out, but we talked about this on the show before. Maybe we see a Heroes for Hire show come out on the Disney, and it's the same actors. It's in the same vein. It's a different show. They're taking it and they're going to start restructuring things a little bit differently.
I agree 100% because I think this is one of those instances where we see things like TV shows getting canceled and picked up by other entities, or TV shows getting canceled and being picked up by streaming services such as Hulu or Netflix. I think this is an opportunity where Disney is canceling this entity on Netflix, so that way when they actually, like you were saying, bring out their new streaming service with Disney, they'll revive it there. They'll create a whole press junket for it and say, oh, by the way, we're bringing back your favorite performers for Luke Cage and Iron Fist and an all-new Defenders series debuting on the new Disney streaming service.
Right.
I mean, and that'll get people to come back or at least pick up the streaming service instantly. That's marketing right there.
Oh, yeah, for sure. You're going to get people canceling Netflix and signing up for the Disney service because they're going to want to watch these Marvel shows.
Oh, 100%.
No, like that would be awesome if it works out that way. I was reading also though that the reason why that they had canceled it was because there were creative differences behind the scenes with
Okay.
I don't know if they were saying it was a showrunner or there was a problem behind the scenes, and because of those differences from what one party wanted versus what the other party was wanting on a creative end with something, they decided to cancel it from there. Or at least that's what I was reading from what they had released.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I mean, I'd hate for it to be solely based off of people not being able to come to a resolution.
I mean, if there's any,
it just reminds me of like the writer's strike.
I was going to say that's kind of the same situation that DC finds themselves, with most of their projects that they're still trying to get off the ground. Like, take for instance the whole Flash movie that was supposed to be happening and whatnot, and the whole losing directors and losing writers and everything else. When you have creative differences, the problem that happens is that the person who's supposed to be making those decisions just can't come to a decision, and it's not like there are people that are like, okay, I'm going to come to this series and I'm going to fuck up everything that you know about Daredevil, or I'm going to screw everything that you could ever possibly imagine about this character or about this hero. People are coming in with the best intentions. The problem is that people are not seeing the bigger picture. It's not about what they choose and what they decide. It's the best way to present the character and be able to create a viable property or product that people will actually consume and enjoy. Because in all honesty,
or they don't research the characters.
Exactly.
So that's 2 out of the 4 Netflix Marvel shows that are down. Jessica Jones was apparently renewed back in April for season 3, and then Daredevil season 3 premiered actually on October 19th, same day that we got the news about Luke Cage. So I don't know.
I mean, so sad.
Do you guys know if Daredevil has been renewed for season 4?
They haven't mentioned anything yet.
Should we be expecting Jessica Jones and Daredevil canceled next?
I don't know, because Daredevil seems to be the one that always gets more of those kudos, and it even looks like Daredevil's showrunner is discussing already plans for season 4. I mean, there's already talks.
Yeah,
it's not solidified in contract yet that they were greenlit for it, but the fact that they're already confident enough to say, okay, we're going to publicize that we're talking about it currently, that should give you everything you need to know. I mean, Daredevil has been the most successful streaming. Well, let's just be honest. Daredevil has been the most successful non-movie property out of Disney pertaining to Marvel.
Yeah.
And it's because they keep it real. They keep it true to what they're doing. I mean, hell, I'm still waiting for a season 2 of Punisher. The Punisher is another one of those ones that really...
You're right.
I'm going to be honest with you. I forgot Punisher had his own TV show.
and
2 out of 5.
But that season, that whole series, the first season of Punisher...
Yeah.
Fuck, that was such a great series. That was a great season. If ever there was a social statement on the way this government treats veterans and people from the military, that's what that series did. And not only do that, but also give us a great Punisher. I mean, that was a great series. I know for a fact that I don't think they will ever cancel Daredevil until they've actually squeezed all the blood from that stone. I don't think they're ever going to get to that point.
Well,
so he's currently free from the snap.
Exactly.
I think I think we are going to see news soon that it's been canceled, just because it's going to be on the Disney service. It's going to be on Marvel.
I don't want it. Just saying.
All right, so let's get into some gaming news.
You hear that? Ivy said she wants it.
No, I thought she. I thought you
don't
didn't
want it.
Oh, I thought she don't want it. Oh, well then never mind.
Do we have a retraction?
Do not want it.
She does not want it.
Earlier we said that Ivy did want it. With retraction.
You know what, guys?
Not want it.
Guys, Ivy's dying. Okay, so we need to just honor her request. Just don't give it to her.
Spider-Man. Let's get to some gaming news. Spider-Man update is now live. This is not the DLC. DLC is coming out next week, I believe, but this is just a update to the game that added some content and fixed some issues that I also did not know were issues. So apparently in some of the original footage that we saw of the Spider-Man PS4 game back in E3, 17, 18, I can't remember.
It was 17.
I think it was 17, right? There was a scene where Spider-Man, where you go to a skyscraper and you're getting to fight some of these demons, right? There's a giant puddle on the ground. Now, the game comes out, 2018, you play it, you get to that part in the game, the puddle is gone. It's now replaced by smaller puddles. And apparently this caused an issue. Puddle-gate happened and we had no idea. People were so upset because they were thinking that this was a sign that they turned down the quality of the game. And people were pissed about this. I had zero idea until I read this article. So one of the things that this update adds for everybody who's concerned about the amount of puddles in Spider-Man 4, PS4, it adds puddles back to the game in the form of stickers. You can now put photo stickers in photo mode.
I'm so glad they're focusing on the things that really matter. If ever there was a need to fix something, it was that.
Let's fix the puddles.
I love Insomniac's response to this. So there are way bigger things that came in this update. The one thing that a lot of people are excited about is the new Game Plus feature. Basically, if you don't know what that means, you can go ahead and start a brand new game, but you start the brand new game with all of the things that you've unlocked. So wait a second.
You mean like how Arkham Asylum did and Arkham City did?
So all of the suits, all of the gadgets.
You mean doing exactly something that has already been done?
And then it also unlocks more trophies. So if you're like me and you platinum the game, you now have to go and pick the game up, which I was already planning on doing again anyway, but pick the game back up and get those new trophies. You also get 3 new suits. But yes, they also did a shortcut for the photo mode, which I'm really happy about. They now put a shortcut for it on the D-pad so you can just access it quickly. And they inserted stickers. So it's not just puddle stickers. You can put all kinds of other stickers on your photos. They announced it. One of the lead developers, I think that's who it is, posted a tweet with a picture of the scene that in question, that it's like a photo of, he took it in photo mode, and there's puddle stickers all over all over the picture, and they're cartoon puddle stickers. And he says, We have a new patch today. Not only do we have New Game Plus, but we added a bunch of stuff in photo mode, including stickers, frames, rotation for stickers, shortcut to the photo mode with the D-pad, and I fixed this for you. And referencing the image. I love when game developers have people like trolling them over dumbass shit, and they go and they just troll them right back. That's to me, it's just the best. I just love it so much. So go check out if you have the Spider-Man 4 game. Go ahead and download that new update. If you don't have that Spider-Man 4 game, I don't know what you've been doing with your
Because
life.
we all need puddles.
You need to
I don't
go
have
download
it.
the Puddles.
You don't have what?
Ivy, what you doing with your
What?
life?
She living?
Well, I don't have a PS4 either because it got stolen.
She's fucking dying, David.
You need
She's
to go...
dying.
And I'm dying.
And she's dying. Oh, there
That's
goes
why I'm
another
wearing the
leg.
sunglasses because I'm dying.
I thought she was doing her best Tommy Wiseau impersonation.
You need to go get the PS4
No!
Spider-Man
No,
PS4
we're not talking about that
bundle.
movie.
Okay.
The Room.
Yes.
So we
I did not hit her. I did not. Oh, hi, Mark.
Speaking of that, let's talk about Red Dead Redemption 2. We talked about this a lot on the show, mainly because I think most of us are in agreement it's a pretty strong contender for Game of the Year, and it's just such a big game release. We got some information on the size of the game, and holy crap.
Are we measuring now? Is that what we're doing?
We're measuring now.
Ivy, what we talked about off the air, we're measuring now.
I win.
Yes, of course you win. We were talking about galactic penises.
So the PS4 version of the game, if you're going to get it on the disc, is 99 gigs. Xbox One, 107 gigs. Digital edition, 99 gigs for installation space, an additional 50 gigs for the installation process. If you're downloading on the PS4, that 50 gigs for the installation process will be freed up again once the game is installed. Xbox One, 107 gigs for installation space. If you buy the disc version, we just found this out from a content creator who got a review copy of the game. Mm-hmm. 2 discs. You
there
have
you go.
A data
Jesus.
disc. You have a data disc and then a actual game disc.
It's like buying Final Fantasy for PS2 all over again.
There it is.
Damn.
It comes in one of those books where you flip it and there's discs on both sides.
I gotta read too now with the book? What the fuck?
It's a picture.
You know I'm gonna have to do that because I always get the physical copies.
I always
of
get the physical copy
games.
because I love
That's the only way we could sell it back to GameStop.
Boom.
That's it.
There it is right there.
It's the only reason why I buy physical copies anymore.
I keep all my games.
How dare you?
Well, I mean, it's fine. She can keep her games.
I mean, hey, she's dying. She
Hell,
can
I
keep
have-
whatever she wants.
I have Sneak King and Pocket Bike Racer
Ooh.
still.
Never mind. I take it back.
I use games I don't play anymore as like trade in to buy other games. There are some games that I keep, but not very many. Spider-Man, I'm never gonna trade. Spider-Man, I'm always gonna hold on to.
Special Cases is on one tonight.
He's right though. Yeah, they would get stolen again.
That's positive thinking. I mean,
do like my physical
look at
copies.
it this way. I mean, you might be dead before they steal it. I mean, just think positive
This
thoughts.
is truth.
Just think positively, okay?
It's for truth.
For truth.
Keeping
From
with Red Dead
Scotland.
Redemption. Keeping with Red Dead Redemption. We had some concerns. They did announce some of the content that you're going to get on the various editions. So you have the standard edition, special edition, ultimate edition, and then the combo pack. I forget what that's called. We're going to call it the combo pack.
The combo pack.
Ultimate. Nope.
Special edition?
Special, ultimate, box set. Nailed it. That's the box set edition. Anything above standard edition has extra missions, and people were really concerned about the fact that, oh, now I have to pay more to have more of the game, or I'm just going to be missing out on...
Not to mention, that's more fucking space.
That's more space.
Like,
that is
that's-
true.
That is what people are not realizing. The bigger the game that you're getting, the more space you're going to eat up on your system.
Bigger the game, the more space. They came out...
Pigs in space. Sorry.
Rockstar came out and announced the bank robbery and the gang hideout, which are the two side missions, are included in the Red Dead Redemption 2 Special Edition, are side activities created specifically for that edition and are not part of the main story. But I want to know what you guys think. What do you guys think about games including extra missions, whether they're integral or not, that you have to, you can, they're not even DLC. It's games that you have to spend more money on to get the content. What do you guys think about that? Do you think that's okay for games to do? Do you think that's, they should just give you all of the game and then make all of the extra content for the extra editions cosmetic?
It's all aesthetics. I mean, seriously, who wants to buy a game hoping to get the complete experience and then find out later on, oh, by the way, you didn't have the complete experience. You need to pay another $30 a month so that you can have continual access to everything else.
I hate
that
that
we have.
crap.
That is so stupid. It's like, why not just give the people the full experience? Why?
Like they used to.
Yes, exactly.
You just buy the game and that was it. And if there was any downloadable content, you get the download free. And now they wised up to it and they're like, oh, you know what? Let's just charge them, X amount of dollars to get the season pass or whatever the hell.
Yeah.
To then get the, that downloadable content or whatever, the updates, what have you. So you have to constantly pay extra money. A game that would be $65 is costing you 90 or 120
at least
to get everything.
And
which is ridiculous. It's stupid.
It's completely ridiculous because it's like, then if you're not selling me the complete game, don't expect the complete price. If you're going to sell me a game and say, by the way, there's going to be an update in the next month, then sell me a game that's like more at like $35 or $40. It's
not a finished product.
Exactly. Like if I created a house and completely forgot to put in all the bathrooms, I'm pretty sure you're going to get kind of pissed. Literally and figuratively. So I say that to say, like, why do they think this is okay to sell us an incomplete game? Why? Why, David? Why?
I don't know. That's why, I mean, to me, I'm not so opposed to DLC. I think that's fine. Going back to, for example, Spider-Man DLC coming out, it's additional content that keeps the game going. So instead of, it's more to the story. You know what I mean? And I'm not paying a full price for that. $25 for, 3 more chapters of the story. I'm down for that. I'm not opposed to that. But point being,
no. With
this game, if you have to, it's not even DLC. You have to buy a more expensive version of the game in order to get more of the game. To me, I don't know. That doesn't seem right to me. I'd rather pay more for the special edition and I get, cosmetic things. Like some of the other stuff that you get, we talked about before on the show, you get one of the more powerful guns in the game. You get a faster horse. You get some cosmetic outfits. Stuff that, it kind of affects the game, but not in a drastic way.
It's all just aesthetics, honestly. It's all just ways to make you experience the game in a different way. But the problem is that there shouldn't be like, if you want people to experience the way you want them to experience your game, then just give them what you want them to experience. Just allow them to see what it is that you're doing, what it is that you want them to see, what it is you want them to find. Why make them dish out more money? It's like,
that's the thing. We're all dummies. We're all going to pay it anyway.
And we are all the fucking idiots who drink the Kool-Aid completely and wholeheartedly.
That's true.
We will sit here in this room and we will rant and cry about it. And as soon as they come out with the next, DLC or whatever, like the next Kingdom Hearts comes out with this Ultimate Edition that's like $200, we're going to drop our pants and totally give them what they want because of the fact that we always do. We are the consumers that completely feed the beast. So... fuck.
All right, so we brought it down. Let's pick it back up really quick here. Elon Musk and Epic Games, Fortnite, got into an argument on Twitter, you guys.
Yes.
I found out about this literally a few hours ago from Ivy, and I had to read into it, and it's hilarious. So
it's awesome.
Elon Musk posted this picture. It's a photoshopped picture that is, don't think he did, obviously. It was something that somebody did and he just tweeted it out. That looks like it's a news article, right? And the headline is Elon Musk buys Fortnite and deletes it. And then they have a quote by him that says, "I had to save the kids from eternal virginity." And he paired this with "It had to be done. You're welcome."
Did you see the follow up? By the way, did you see the follow up tweet
from Fortnite?
No. Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, there's more after that.
So Fortnite responds, in the best way possible. They find an article that interviewed Elon Musk talking about Mars and colonizing Mars, and he said that within the decade we'll be flying to Mars, or we will be building on Mars, is what it was.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Fortnite responds with a whole decade, Elon Musk, just build, LOL. Which, if you don't know, you don't play Fortnite, you're not in the culture, just build, LOL, is like a meme that more seasoned Fortnite players say to the noobs when they say, oh, I'm not good at the game, I can't do it, I keep losing. Just build. Like, just get good at building. And it's the same as get good, bro.
Yeah.
So it's hilarious, this whole back and forth between Elon Musk and Fortnite.
Well, and it's bleeded over into other.
He responds again.
He responds again? Okay, so the article I read said that he ended it.
He responded again. There's an additional response.
What did he say?
Reality is hard.
Oh, wow.
Well, and you got other entities, like there's a company named Myth who retweeted it and said, "Excuse me, Mr. Musk, but I think it's important for me to state that I actually lost my virginity after playing Fortnite." Just saying. And Elon Musk responded and said, "Online doesn't count."
Damn!
Drop the mic there.
Dude smokes pot one time and he starts spitting fire at people.
Oh, snap.
Holy crap.
This other guy tweeted to him, well, I don't know if he responded, but I liked his tweet. All the engineers from Epic Games who built Fortnite games will now be shipped to Mars on a SpaceX rocket. Like, I like this idea. Let's make that happen.
There you go.
Oh, man.
Without any servers.
And someone else said, buy a Tesla, get a skin if you buy the Tesla Model X.
You get a custom Tesla skin in Fortnite. Oh, Fortnite should do that just to piss him off. That'd be hilarious. Oh my gosh. Epic, I know you guys are big fans of the show. You guys listen every week. Make it happen.
Do it.
I'll let you figure out what it looks like. But maybe it has a big T on the chest. I don't know. You guys can figure it out. So if you guys can hear the music, we are coming to a close. Thank you guys so much for watching, for listening. You can find the podcast on all of the major podcast networks: Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, not SoundCloud anymore. I think that's it.
Spotify?
Spotify. Yep, Spotify was the first one. iTunes,
Player FM,
Google Play, Player FM, Podcast Bean. No, that's an actual thing. I don't think we're on Podcast Bean. Anyway, anywhere you get podcasts, you guys can find them there. Also, subscribe to us on Twitch or follow us on Twitch, twitch.tv/videogame_bang. You can catch the live show there. Eddie, go ahead, plug your show. Where can people find you? Where can people find the show?
You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Filmlosophers or our Twitter page at twitter.com/Filmlosophy101. You can also catch every single one of our 136 episodes on our website at filmlosophers.com. If you head over to the vgbstudios.com website, you can catch all of our episodes there. That's where our link goes to. So check us out, and we'd love to hear you in our comments.
And Ivy, where can people find you? What's your next show? What's going on?
You can find me on all the things under Ivy Doomkitty, ivydoomkitty.com, twitch.tv/Ivy Doomkitty, and my Patreon, patreon.com/Ivy Doomkitty. And my next show is there are 2 international shows. So I'm doing Shanghai Comic-Con this week and Vienna Comic-Con next month.
Nice.
And that's all the things. I'm going to be really busy.
And guys, I want you to know that Ivy is dying, so be ready, because her funeral is going to be the event of the century. It is. We have so many things planned.
We have lots of plans.
We have pirates with harpoons. I shit you not.
Or spears. BGB will be back on Wednesday for the next episode, and then we will see you guys, if you're going to TwitchCon this weekend, we will see you guys there. Come find me, Cory, and Emma. We'll be wandering the con floor. Stop us, take pictures with us. We'll do autographs. We won't even charge you. That's how nice we are. So for Eddie Villanueva, Ivy Doomkitty, I am the real David Webb. We'll see you guys next time.
Penis.
Peace. Is what he meant.
Penis.
And love.